So what do you all think about this choice? I guess, Theresa, we could start with you because you always have a lot of opinions. I mean, this has been obviously a nerve-wracking experience, waiting to find out who it would be. You've had a couple days to think about it. How are you feeling right now about the pick?
Still nervous, but I think that's just it's going to take me a while to get used to anybody new after Gary, so I'm not, I'm trying to be as optimistic as I can be, but right now it's that whole waiting for them to officially accept, and then maybe I will feel better about it. Not thinking that, it's pretty clear he probably will accept, but until that paper is signed, I'm still kind of nervous. I mean, I was making a joke the other day that, the last time Josh said something about a director who wasn't signed, who's excited to work with a director, and that was Gary, and he's like, excited to work on Catching Fire and with Gary or whatnot, and Gary wasn't signed, and then Gary left, and now he's saying he's excited to work with Francis, and Francis isn't signed. So I was making a joke, and I'm like, But
No. I got your joke.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Do you want him to sign? Would you rather?
I will feel better. It was just like one of those things, like, okay, Josh, I mean, I feel bad for him. I mean, it's like here he did before, but I don't know. I think I am putting all my faith in Ariel. Ariana is who I wish could have been on tonight because she absolutely is excited about this pick. And she loves I Am Legend. She loved what he did with Water for Elephants. So she's very excited about this. So I'm going to have faith that she knows because I haven't seen his work yet. I need to sit down and find the time, but I'm so busy these past few weeks that I haven't been able to. So I need to sit down and watch the films and then kind of make a decision. But I'm just hoping that, they knew what they were doing when they picked him. I mean, Josh seems to be kind of enthusiastic about it. So
yeah, and if you guys missed out on Josh Hutcherson's comments about Francis Lawrence, he was at the GLAAD Awards Saturday. It was recently. And like Theresa said, he said that he was very excited to work with Francis Lawrence. He also said that he heard he's the nicest guy ever. So I think that's a pretty good sign. If someone has a reputation for being the nicest guy ever, I think that's good, personally.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'll just say very quickly, because I asked around people that I know in film, not that these are experts at all, so you can take this with somewhat of a grain of salt. And we are going to talk to an LA-based expert of sorts in Tiffany Kostansky about this in a little bit. But but I do want to say, here's what I've heard about him, and I'll say the pros and the cons. And the cons may not be an issue at all here. The pros are, apparently, you can count on the movie being visually beautiful, that when it comes to visuals, he's supposed to be great in pretty much almost anything he's done, which is obviously something to be excited about.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of great scenery, right, with the arena there. I mean, look, we'll talk about the videos, but obviously he's directed some incredible music videos, and you can't do that without a certain degree of flair for aesthetics. The other thing about him is that he's apparently very good at working on budget and being efficient, which I think is probably why he was a good choice, because we all know, we talked about this to death, about the scheduling conflicts. And so I think if there's a reason to be excited, you could say, all right, this is a guy who's capable of doing pre-production in a shorter amount of time, and that's kind of his normal rate. So I guess that's something to be happy about. The downsides, from what I've heard, is that he's more caught up with visuals than he is with character development and story. That's where I'm hoping that Suzanne and Nina being involved, and the fact that he's finally attached to a picture where the example has been set by Gary and company, that he's actually able to prove that he's multifaceted in every area. So maybe this is a challenge where in some areas where he hasn't proven strength before, he just hasn't had the real opportunity yet to do it. And I think yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'll let you finish your thought. I had a question about one of the things that you said.
Yeah. I was just going to say that for Theresa, I think when you see I Am Legend, you will really see some things that you'll like. And that a lot of the criticisms of that movie are a few very minor things that if it had maybe a little bit more intelligent hand behind on the production side might have made a big difference. That's my take on it. But anyway, Savanna, what was your question?
Oh, my question was, what, out of curiosity, has led you or other people to believe that he is more concerned with visuals than characters and story? Because I actually watched an interview with him recently, and he seemed to emphasize that he did place a lot of importance on character and on story. Is there something in particular that led you or whoever mentioned that to you to say that?
I don't think it was what this person was telling me is that it wasn't what he emphasized. I think it was more of what his reputation is known for.
I see. I understand.
So that actually, if that's what he's saying in interviews. For me,
I Am Legend is, and granted, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember it being very much focused. It was a very big movie, and it was very focused on the visuals, but I also remember it being very much about Will Smith's character.
Right.
But
I think my only critique is that there was a little too much simplification of things. And I think for a book as really as well, just throw it out there, as well written as Catching Fire, he needs to do a better job with this adaptation of making sure to capture all the nuance. And I'm not saying he's not up for it. That's my concern that I want to optimistically believe won't be a concern, if that makes sense to all of you. Let's go over to Crystal over in Hawaii, who has had many opinions. Now, Crystal, you're probably of the people here the least upset about Gary Ross leaving in the first place. Is Francis Lawrence your knight in shining armor for Catching Fire?
Not really. I've seen Constantine and Water for Elephants and Legend, and I wasn't blown away by any of them. I actually found Constantine to be kind of confusing. So I'm nervous, but I'm still waiting to see more about what he says. I mean, and like Savanna said, we don't know if he took the job for sure yet. But yeah, I'm trying to keep it in the back of my head so that I'm not stressing out over it.
I think it's important for all of us not to stress out about it. I mean, I was super emotional about the Gary Ross thing, and I've only just now recovered. But I think we need to just keep reminding ourselves that they did make good choices the first time around with Gary et al., and there's no reason for us to believe that they would not make a good choice this time. So, but yeah, it's really hard to judge his directing skills just based on the movies that he has done, because he hasn't done a lot. So why don't we go next to Sam? Do you have any thoughts on Francis Lawrence? I know one thing that you're excited about is his past work with James Newton Howard.
Yeah, when I heard that he was going to possibly be directing, I was really excited because I know one thing that we've talked about previously on the show and stuff is, hoping James Newton Howard gets to come back for Catching Fire and expand on these themes that he's composed. And so I think with Francis Lawrence directing it, he'll more than likely get a chance to come back and do that. So that's really my only take on it.
Yeah, right. And what did they work together on? Water for Elephants, right?
And I Am Legend.
Oh, that's right. And he did I Am Legend too. That's right. So they have a history together, and I don't think there's any questions the score in those two movies were enhancements to the experience.
Oh, yeah. The score was definitely one of my favorite aspects of I Am Legend.
So that's definitely a good thing. I mean, the other thing, too, I think we have to keep in mind is it's not like Francis Lawrence is walking in from scratch. There's already a movie out there that he has to base this on. And so I think, honestly, and I could be just talking out of complete nonsense, but I feel like of all the directors that we had chosen, this is probably, or had been in the running. I think he is probably the most likely to stay true to what Gary Ross's vision was, if that makes any sense. The least likely to start tampering and trying to do all kinds of weird things.
Yeah, I think so too.
So that could be a great thing.